Mahomes on the map before everyone else did.
I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say.
Can I go first? May I go first?
Sure.
I'm good.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I like what I'm seeing from Mahomes and the potential that he has in that rifle of an arm, and he can do some great, great things. My issue was the comparison Walsh to Andy Reid, who I love, and I covered them for many years in Philadelphia. I wasn't a beat writer, but ultimately I became a columnist, and I was working there for 17 years, as you all know. Bill Walsh won a title in 81, won a title in 84, won a title in 88. Andy Reid has been in the NFL for 20 years, okay? Like 18 or 19 as a head coach. He has not won a Super Bowl title yet. That in and of itself cuts that conversation off. You have to close the deal to warrant comparisons to those who have. We do that with players all the time. We have to do that with coaches too. This year, I believe Andy Reid has some pressure on his shoulders with the talent he has on that offensive side of the ball. I don't think there's ever been more pressure on Andy Reid, who, again, I love and respect, to deliver the goods. He's got to be able to do it. Because Walsh, we never had that question about.
Yeah, look,
we're still waiting for him.
I know exactly what you're saying. You know, until he delivers a championship, you can't really put him in the same category. Although I know what Coach Martindale was really getting at.
Right.
And that's this: the relationship between these two, the way that they are now kind of, I don't want to say, well, let's just say this: they're kind of taking offensive football and they're exploding it. And they're making it more and more creative, and they're basically offensive football has become limitless as far as how teams will try to attack you now. And Andy is at the forefront of that. Andy is one of the leaders in that. Teams watch him and copy what he's doing and try and put it into their game plan and try to emulate it. That's what people did with Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh has a book called Finding the Winning Edge. It's about yay big. I mean, it looks like a big, giant encyclopedia that's about 300-400 pages long. You can't find it in the regular bookstore. You have to buy it like from publishing houses, and it costs $400 for a hardbound book. I know, I bought it. It's the Bible for coaches. Bill Walsh is the standard, Stephen A. There's no question about that. He is the standard. But Andy, I think what Coach Martindale's getting at is the fact that it's all about relationships when you're talking about great play callers and quarterbacks. That's when they become transcendent and when they become special and people want to copy them and be like them. Other teams are copying the Chiefs right now. And if they can go ahead and finish the deal and win a championship, although this Chiefs team doesn't have a championship caliber defense like the San Francisco 49ers in those years you've referenced had. They don't have those kind of players. I don't know if they can do it. But I know what he's getting at as far as the specialness between Andy and Pat, how Andy feels about Pat, and what Pat can do with what Andy has given him. That I'm telling you, I said this back there in the summer. You're going to see something you haven't seen before. You're talking about a kid now who in his first year as a starter is probably going to throw for over 50 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards. In his first year as a starter.
Which is
his
why.
first year.
Sorry, go ahead, Max.
I understand, Lewis, I understand what you're saying in terms of the way they're being imitated and all that stuff. If you look at Mahomes, most of his passes are to wide open receivers, which is what the best offensive coaches are doing now. Guys are wide open. It's ridiculous. But I would say that not only Stephen A, are you right about the wall, like the best argument, really the only argument in the NFL, in the Super Bowl era against Belichick is Walsh. That he's the original Belichick with Montana as Belichick is with Brady. So, right, that's a level above Andy Reid. I get that. But also, in terms of talent, Montana was not the talent that Mahomes is. He was the GOAT before Brady was the GOAT. But that was largely because he was clutch, because he was precise, because, you know, there was a timing West Coast offense, because he had great teammates. Yes, he was the GOAT, and he benefited greatly from his circumstances, and it made him a better player even when he went to Kansas City, much as I credit Belichick for Brady. But Mahomes is a different kind of talent. Mahomes is the kind of guy where you look at him and go, man, if he had a Belichick or a Walsh, would he be the greatest of all time, like an Aaron Rodgers type, if he had a coach like that? And now, as Lewis, as you said, now the pressure in many respects is on Andy Reid in the sense that, okay, you have a generational talent. McNabb was great, of course, but this is a generational talent. What are you going to do with it? So far, so good.
Well, again, so far so good, and I'm not dismissing that. And I realize the potential is there for Mahomes. We can't limit Mahomes' potential to anything. I mean, because listen, he might break all types of records. I mean, this dude might be the second coming of a Marino, but I do think we have to look at the coach.
Can I just ask one thing, though?
Sure.
And usually you're the Debbie Downer. It is his first year. I understand how incredible he is. Yeah, on pace for 54 touchdowns. Do we think a sophomore slump could happen with this kid as defenses figure him out, or is he just that special of a talent?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a sophomore slump in the traditional sense. I don't. Not unless the team starts to fall apart around him, or this, or let's just say next year. Okay, let's just call next year the sophomore slump year because all right. Let's just say if Andy leaves him for some reason that Andy actually leaves Kansas City or doesn't want to coach anymore, that's what I think could derail a kid like this.
Okay. Right.
Because I'm telling you, what Coach Martindale is getting at is not about the Super Bowl titles and how people revere Andy or how accomplished he is. He's talking about the synergy. And it's special. That's what he thinks he sees.
Molly, the only thing that I'm going to say is that I never view myself as a Debbie Downer. I view it as resume.
No, I'm teasing you.
I know that, but I know that's
Yeah.
not about you. I'm just saying that's a big, big deal to me.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way we can make sure we measure everyone equitably.
Of course.
Yeah, I would say this,
and
Molly.
we've seen guys have fantastic
Molly.
Gotta
first
be a
years
resume.
and then fall off. Yes,
Gotta be a
Matt.
resume.
I would say this. I think a sophomore slump is not only probable but likely. I'm not worried about his second year. How is he going to be in his third and fourth and fifth years? A sophomore slump doesn't mean that he doesn't wind up an all-time great quarterback. Sophomore slumps happen to a lot of guys.